Hi. In this video, I'm going to show you how to plan menus for Pesach and have fun while you're doing it. Recently, I had an interesting conversation with a client. She told me that she was noticing, after talking with me for a while, that she was very, very serious about her life and not having a lot of fun, not having a lot of joy. Everything had become very, very serious. And in this session, I asked her, when did it start, or when do you remember it starting that you became very serious? And when she thought about it for a little while, she remembered that it really started when she started becoming religious. And that was kind of a light bulb moment for both of us. We both realized that sometimes our Jewish education focuses on the seriousness, on the yira, the fear of Hashem, when in fact there's a huge part of Yahadut that's all about simcha, it's all about happiness, and all about ahavat Hashem, all about the love for Hashem. We have something in our brain called the reticular activating system. This is a system in our brain that gets us what we focus on. So for example, have you ever noticed that when you're pregnant, everywhere you look, there's pregnant ladies? I remember once we were buying a car and we had almost made the decision to buy a Mitsubishi minivan. And suddenly, everywhere we looked on the road and on the highway, Mitsubishi minivans. Our reticular activating system works very hard to help us find what we focus on. So if we're focused on yira, fear, then that's what we're going to get. If, on the other hand, we're focused on simcha and on lightheartedness, then that's what we're going to get. One of my favorite conversations to have with clients is when they wake up and they suddenly realize, oh my gosh, I have this habit over the years of focusing on heaviness and focusing on fear and focusing on things that are hard, when in fact maybe start focusing on joy and fun and happiness, and that would be okay too, might even be great. That conversation is always a lot of fun because then we brainstorm all the ways that they can bring more fun and happiness and joy into their lives. So I'd like to bring this idea, the idea of focusing on the simcha aspect and the fun and the joy, into your menu planning and shopping for Pesach. Let's start by giving you an exercise. Take a few moments to take a few breaths and just get yourself very centered. And then start going down memory lane, thinking about different experiences you had in different Pesachs in years gone by. Think about the yummy foods that you ate at the Pesach Seders. What were the foods that most remind you of family members that you love? What were the foods that gave you just a lot of pleasure? I remember when I was a kid, we used to have like these missions to sell Barton's candy before Pesach. And I remember two kinds of Barton's candy that it was just like my total pleasure if my parents would buy it. All of these things kind of fill my heart with I don't know, comfort, warm and fuzzy feelings. So what I want you to do is to write down those things that give you warm and fuzzy feelings, the kinds of foods that you remember eating over Pesach, at the Seder or during the week. As you write down these ideas of menus from days gone by, you can also mark down the ingredients that you think you would need to make some of these recipes. If you can, and if you want to be more detailed, think about how much of each ingredient you might want and write it down next to the ingredient. In this way, you've started creating a recipe book, a menu plan, and a list of ingredients that you'll need so that when you go shopping, it will be easier for you. You'll already have a shopping list prepared. Another thing that you can do to make menu planning fun is to create for yourself your own cookbook or resource file that's just for Pesach. Now this doesn't happen all at once, and it's not another job that I'm putting on you. What you actually can do is you can buy a notebook with nylons inside, with something like this, with nylon folders inside. And you can just put into that notebook the menus or the recipes. You can put into the notebook the vision work that you did. You can also put in the cleaning information that you wrote down. Once you've done this, then you don't have to keep reinventing the wheel every year. Maybe you have a little extra work to do this year, but in years to come, a lot of the work that you did this year, it's just going to be so much easier for you because it's all there in that resource file. Someone who's detail-oriented is going to put in a shopping list and put in the amounts of everything that you want to buy and put in the actual recipes. Someone who's less detail-oriented, in order to have fun with this, might put in their mind map or might cut out pictures from magazines or print out recipes from the internet, something where you don't have to actually do all the detail work, but it's done for you, and then you can put it into the nylon folders. Those of you who are very creative and flowing might want to take pictures of the foods you make this year and then put them into the resource file. That way you don't actually have to do the details of writing out the menus, but you can have the pictures, so from year to year you remember what you made and what you have to buy to make those things. Another thing that you can do that's creative, you can see I had one of my kids color a page for the front of the book. Before we move on to the next step, I'd also like to give you some shopping tips. Shopping could be a really loaded time right before Pesach because the stores are so crowded, people are so tired, and they tend to get cranky, and so do we. Let's face it, it's not an easy time to be shopping. Tip number 1, read your vision before you go shopping. Remember who you want to be and prepare yourself for how you're going to stay in those ways of being when somebody bumps into you with their cart. Another really important tip is set a fixed amount of time for the shopping. But this time, we're not going to shorten the fixed amount of time. What I want you to do is give yourself an extra long amount of time to shop, more than you think you'll need. That way, you won't be rushing through the store. That way, if somebody's in your way when you're trying to get your cart through the aisle, you won't get as stressed. I want you to have lots of time for shopping, and I want you to be able to do it really peacefully and calmly and just meander instead of rushing through the aisles. Another good tip for shopping before Pesach is to go to the store at a time when it's a little less crowded. Go right when the store opens or very late at night if you're a night person. At each of those times on the periphery of the day, you're more likely to get the store closer to being yours. Another tip I have is to go into the store with a lot of compassion for the people around you. Remember that not everybody is connected with themselves, with their breath, with their vision when they clean for Pesach. We haven't always been. And remember how they feel by the time they get to shopping and how cranky they are and how tired. If you can go into the store with an understanding of what people are going through there and really bring them love and kindness and graciousness, it will change your whole attitude about shopping. It becomes less about, let's get this done, here's another thing we have to get done, and more about spreading the peace and spreading the joy. It is such a good feeling to give over peacefulness to other people. Another really important tip is to think about leaving your kids at home. And finally, it could be that you'll get to the store and you're so tired already that you're not going to be able to stay in the ways of being that you chose. Or you start with those ways of being and then it starts to shift. All I ask you to do there is your ABCs. Attend, notice, become aware that something is shifting in you. Stop to breathe. Give yourselves a few breaths just to get yourself centered. Bring some compassion. Commiserate with yourself. Yeah, sometimes Pesach shopping is hard. It's crowded. It's annoying. People around me are cranky. And then again, you can go back to your vision and choose who you want to be and how you want to take care of yourself in this moment as you're trying to complete your Pesach shopping. So happy shopping. I'll see you in the next video when we'll prepare for Seder night and Chol Hamoed Pesach.